All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting of the Isanti City Council to order. If we can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. And before we get going here, I just want to remind everyone to put your cell phones away, please, and we don't want any cell phone use during our meetings here. During roll call, we have all council members are present. Do we have any public comment this evening? All right, hearing none, I'll look for a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
I should have asked if you have any changes, I guess. No changes? Okay. I have a motion from Councilman Lundin and a second from Councilman Merrill to adopt the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Before we move on to the council meeting minutes, I just wanted to make a quick mention tonight. There's a lot of heavy hearts in our community, I think, and you know, I just wanted to mention the death of Paul Elmstrand, Matthew Rug, and Adam Finseth from Bloomington down there, and you know, we've got some local ties to the Elmstrand family here, of course, and I know a lot of people are praying for those guys and their families, and Travis, I want you guys to know, I mean, we're always praying for you guys too, and we appreciate what you guys do, and you know, I mean, just that you guys are willing to take that sacrifice for us, that you never know what's gonna happen, and it means a lot to me and my family, and I know it means a lot to these guys up here too, so, but just wanted to mention that, and just, it's really an awful situation, just a tough deal, so, but a lot of folks are thinking about the families, so. All right, we'll move on to G1, approving the city council meeting minutes from February 6th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilman Lundin and a second from Councilman Heeman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. For announcements, we have the Park and Recreation Board meeting. It's Tuesday, February 27th. That is canceled, actually, sorry. The presidential nominating primary election is Tuesday, March 5th, so we will have our city council meeting on Wednesday, March 6th at 7 p.m. that evening, and then we have the EDA meeting on Wednesday, March 6th, immediately following the council meeting. Do we have any council committee reports?
Thank you, Josie, for reading off mine during the last meeting. I know there's a lot.
We had a BMX association meeting. A lot of it was for their Governor's Cup race, which was last weekend. They were projecting 2,500 people. So, as far as I went, I drove by a couple of times, and she was full. So, I hope they did well.
Any other committee reports?
I did sign up for the LMC economic and HR meetings, so those meet 3 times this summer each. So hopefully we can, if there's any recommendations that you guys have that you want recommended to state legislature regarding economics or HR, send them to me, and then I can kind of talk down there about that.
Will you have an agenda for those meetings?
I will get that. Yep.
Make them,
Yep. There's some interesting things on there sometimes, so.
yeah, I'd like to see a copy if you have one.
Yeah.
available.
So if anybody wants any changes done, I think that's a strong place to bring them.
One thing about the league too is that they come from a perspective that's maybe not quite as small town as maybe what we would say, but they do certainly take our opinion into consideration, and it makes a difference when you're there participating, so.
Yeah, if any residents have anything that they are concerned about, I know that's why we're here, is to sort of represent our community. And I mean, a lot of people in this community are concerned about what the state's doing, so I would encourage anybody to reach out to us about anything that they're doing down there. So.
Luke, do you feel your voice has a little, do they listen?
So last year I went to those meetings, and after the first couple of meetings, I was pretty boisterous down there like I am here. And there were a couple of people that were like, thank you for actually speaking up, because the minority down there is the smaller towns. You know, they're heavily represented by Minneapolis and St. Paul and all those areas that are trying to push the state extreme left. And I think it's good that we're down there. I wish there was more small communities that would be involved with it, because the vast majority of our state is not happy with the direction. So I encourage every small city to get involved with the LMC.
I agree, because
Yeah.
they are the largest
Voice.
voice, yes, lobbyist group in the state of Minnesota, I know that, so.
It really opened up some passion for me going to those, to be honest. You
Good.
know, because you see that all this stuff that's going on down there, and we can actually maybe make a change in it, so.
I have a question. Have you reached out to maybe Bram or Cambridge and see if they are?
Yeah.
We could all
do that.
carpool down there. Which is-
Yeah, I don't know. I think Cambridge is Evan Vogel's there for Cambridge. He's a pretty good voice down there. I know he chairs the HR meetings. I'm not sure about Bram, if they're an LMC city. I know, because you have to pay to be in the LMC, correct?
They are. I do
Okay.
see them at some regional LMC meetings, but I'm not sure if they're on any of those committees.
Okay, that's a good idea, though, to get, the smaller towns need to be more involved with that, because the
Yes.
smaller town voices are kind of drowned out down there unless you really put your voice out there, which I'm doing because I believe in it, but,
Some of what you see when you get to, outstate Minnesota is the smaller cities will be in the coalition of greater Minnesota cities. It's kind
Okay.
of like the outstate option, I guess is the way to say that to LMC. And so the coalition of greater Minnesota cities, they'll pick up a lot of those 800, 1,800, 2,000 population towns across the state, especially on that outer edge. Yep.
but the only problem with that is you already know what greater Minnesota wants, and you have the LMC, which is I think LMC has more of a voice down at the state, so if your LMC is primarily Democrat or left-leaning, and then the other one is primarily right, the one is listened to more than the other, because that's just how it is, so.
LMC has more infrastructure. They have
Yeah,
more,
absolutely.
They have more money. And
Yeah.
Yep.
Contributing.
So if we could push other community members, that's a good idea to go down to those. I think it was great that we added those to our committees, because that to me seems huge if you can actually make an impact. I don't know, Jimmy, what do you think about those? Was that?
Yeah, I mean, they do pay attention when you say something out
Yeah.
of the ordinary, and they notice, but they actually consider it.
They
You know,
do.
They
Good
really,
or
they really do
bad.
consider it, 'cause
They
it's,
do.
so, yeah, no, it makes a difference to be showing up. And I remember there was a time, I think we debated on maybe going out of the league and into the greater, I forget the name of that, but Greater Minnesota Cities Group, and I think we decided the league was still the better option, but we were gonna start to participate more, was really last year when we started
Yep.
to attend those meetings, so. But it makes a difference, yeah, and it, those are the people that are talking to our state representation and putting in a word for us too, so that helps, so. All right, any other committee reports? Otherwise, we'll go ahead and move on to business item K1, the ordinance to amend chapter 253 rental dwellings.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this was a change actually in 256 to amend the rental dwellings license expiration date. That was changed in December of 2022. However, it was not changed within this chapter. And there was some overlap, and so I removed that, because what happens if you change it one chapter, but it also is mentioned in other, this is what you have happen. So this ordinance has been posted for 10 days, and it simply is changing the date from December 31st to June 1st to reflect the change that was approved by council in 2022.
Can I ask why the date was changed?
Because it was easier to do the rental inspections in the summer than in the winter, I think was the main thing, right? Yeah.
Have we had any complaints on that? Okay,
Motion to
Mo-
approve.
second.
I have a motion to approve from Councilman Lundin and a second from Councilman Merrill. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. So we'll move on to K2, the ordinance to amend chapter 256, property maintenance standards.
So this was discussed at the last council meeting to amend the language for, and to make it clear about what kind of lock was required on these properties. So the language that was included is or sliding bolt lock. So I'll just read the sentence. This is in 256-9A. Every door that is designed to provide ingress or egress for a dwelling unit within a common interest or rental facility must be equipped with an approved lock that has a deadlocking bolt or sliding bolt lock, and then the language that cannot be retracted by end pressure provided has been stricken. And then at the time of doing an ordinance change, it's also good to review the whole section or the whole chapter. So there's a couple minor language revisions in here that is cleaning up some language and then taking out the redundant requirement for the licensing and rentals that I just mentioned was in that previous chapter.
That's the way we discussed that block, right?
Yeah, we discussed that. Lock was, basically it had been a rental property. Luke, I guess you were gone, so I can kind of fill you in, but you did hear it? Okay, all right. So, yeah, I mean, that was basically just a rental property where that lock had been fine for 20 years, and then it wasn't fine, and so we needed to kind of clarify the language to allow for that. And I thought it basically satisfied the intent of the language the way it was originally drafted, so.
Motion to approve it then.
I have a motion to approve it from Councilman Lundin and a second from Councilman Heeman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Moving on to K3, the resolution to consider approving the Public Works salt shed replacement.
Mayor and council, there's $169,200 for the Public Works salt shed. Staff reached out and got one quote from Greystone Construction. The salt shed will be 41 by 40, hold 445 tons of salt. Public Works staff will do the grading and prep site work for the project using existing dirt. The pavement for the building will occur during the pavement management street project this summer. In additional site work around the shed will be done, completed for some outdoor storage type stuff. We came in at $158,493.50, including a 10% contingency.
So I have a question for you on that. First, I'm glad that it's under budget, because I think the salt shed has been important, and that's something that I've voiced anyways. The 445 tons of salt, you said, how long does that generally last? Is that usually a whole winter's worth, or is that enough for growth of the city, or?
Yeah, I can order salt anytime,
Okay.
and it's usually there within a week. So this will hold the majority of our winter's worth of salt.
Okay. So it's not a huge deal if the city doubles in size and you end up using double the salt, it's not
No.
that big a deal to order a second load?
No,
Okay.
this will be just fine.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think it's great. I think you guys really need that. So I know we had talked in the past about maybe using the old salt shed for storage until it's bad and then get rid of it. Have you guys considered putting down like a base of gravel so that anything you might store in there doesn't get affected by the salt that's leached into the ground?
It's already paved. The new salt shed or the old salt shed?
The old one.
Old one, it is already paved.
Okay, so it's
Yep.
paved under the salt, so you just
Yep.
have to wash all that real good?
Yep, we washed it all out. We can put,
Okay.
illuminated sandy fencing under there,
Okay.
picnic tables, different stuff.
Plows in the winter or summer? Okay,
Yep,
sure,
yep,
okay.
yep,
So
different
I
stuff
just
like
didn't
that.
know if you had thought about, the salt contaminating, especially anything metal, it's just gonna flash rust anything, so I didn't know if putting down gravel on top of that concrete would be necessary or helpful, or,
My fear would be loading the gravel up in a truck when we're loading trucks up and then spitting rocks out the back of the truck. So pavement.
no,
is
no,
better.
I mean in the old salt shed.
Oh, yeah, it's all pavement now. We would just wash that out really good. That's the plan, take the water truck, wash it
Okay.
all out and,
Okay,
yeah, rinse it out real good off the walls and I think we'd be just fine.
perfect, sounds good, I'm excited about that for you guys,
Me too.
yeah.
I need some clarification on the roofing material for the new salt shed.
The roofing material, it'd be like a tarp.
Canvas,
Yep.
canvas?
What is the replacement cost of that tarp, and what is the life expectancy? Usually they're like 5, 10, or 20 years, and I think 20 is pushing on it a lot.
It is, absolutely is.
Yeah, 20 years. Greystone has sold the installed product for over 20 years. Success for thousands of fabric buildings. I don't see a warranty on that. Jason, would you happen to know what that might be?
Yeah, those fabrics don't last very long in Minnesota,
I can tell you the salt shed we have now, I'm assuming this would be the same type of fabric, and it's been there for, almost 20 years. We had it blow off one time in a windstorm, but they put it back on, and it's still holding up. I could find that out, but I'm not sure.
would it, if,
It'd be a hell of a lot cheaper than putting new steel on every other year.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine it'd be that much of,
so if, I have a question. If, you know, you said that the cover blew off, say if it's $50,000 for a new cover or whatever it is, would insurance cover that if it happened in a storm? Is that something that our insurance would cover?
Damaged by windstorm?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
this will be covered.
okay.
I do have something to add
Yeah.
to this. So we do have the streets funding this project. One thing that we've discussed in the past is the condition and the poor condition that our pavers are in downtown, right outside the post office and the custom meats facility. And I'm apologizing, I'm just bringing this on you now, but we are looking for a way to find funding for that. It's approximately $6,000 or so to have those pavers in those small kind of section. One's about a 12 by 14, one's about a 6 by 9 foot area to pull out the old pavers, put new in. One thing that I would propose to council before we just vote on this item is with that extra funds available, the 10,000 of us not using, is to use about 6,000 of that for the paver project downtown. I could do the math, I have
Well,
not done
remember, they
the
gotta
math.
pull out the old stuff too, and
You gotta
Pavers
pull it out,
aren't- Pavers aren't.
and they are crumbled in a lot of the area, it's crumbled pieces. And then putting it back with as close a match as we can. Obviously, there'll be some coloration differences and such, but to replace it with
it'll look a lot
pavers.
better than it does now, though, that's for sure, yeah.
Yes,
I make a motion to approve with the paver work.
thank you.
Anything else that you guys wanna add at all, or, okay? I have a motion to approve from Councilman Lundin and a second from Councilman Heeman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. We'll move on to K4, the resolution to consider approving the graduating senior street pole banner policy.
Good evening, council. Staff has finalized the original draft of the graduating senior street pole banner policy, originally brought forward in August of 2023, at the committee of the whole meeting. As discussed, there are 13 street poles with brackets to hold the banners along Main Street. Having double-sided banners, we'll be able to accommodate 26 seniors to be recognized at a first-come, first-served basis. In the policy, it states that the ordering would be available each year, starting January 1st through April 1st. However, the timeline this year would only be a month to order, starting March 1st through April 1st. The banners will be installed and removed by Public Works and will be displayed the month of May, and will be removed after graduation ceremonies are completed each year. Banners will display graduating year, the student's name, and a photo of them. The cost will be half the production cost of the banner provided for one side of a double-sided banner. All double-sided banners will be kept by the city. The city will need to purchase brackets to place on the poles to hold the banners for extra brackets for more. And if a family wishes to have a banner to keep for personal use, a separate order will take place for a single-sided banner at full production costs. Just because we know it's gonna get tattered, we don't wanna have there be a discrepancy about who gets the banner, as discussed. So far, the costs that we've seen are for one double-sided banner is $89 each. For 13 double-sided banners, it's a $79 cost for each, so if we fill them all up, that's the price point we received.
I have a question on that quick. Is that if the image is all the same, or is that with different images?
That's with different images, yep.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
And then, a single-sided banner would cost families $59 if they choose to do so for at home.
And just to add to that, the policy is written as it being Isanti graduating seniors. So preference would be given to them first if we had someone from, I don't know, Cambridge who wanted to
Yeah.
put their graduating senior here.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and this was something that a resident had brought up, well, it must have been last summer, I guess, and we talked about, but Pine City, I think, does something like this, right? So, and they just thought it was nice, and it's a nice idea, so. How are we gonna let people know about it, I guess, was my question. You know, are we gonna let the schools know and stuff, and?
We will start with social media as one way to do it and put it on our website and have the registration available on our website, as well as we could put a public notice in the paper if you would like. We could reach out to the schools.
Yeah, I just think.
It's at your discretion.
Yeah, I think I'd just like to see us at least notify the school and talk with them, maybe, you know, so that they're aware of it and they can put in a word for us to to let the students know it's available.
I think after the first year or two, it'll be organic too,
I
because
think
people will
so,
see it.
yeah,
and
once
then
they see it
Kids will be
and-
like, oh, that'll be cool when I'm a senior, you
Yeah,
know?
right, yeah. More for the parents, it'll be fun to, you know,
Yeah.
embarrass their kids. So,
Yeah, I thought about that.
yeah,
I got a senior next year.
yeah.
Punishment if you don't get good grades.
All
Sounds
right.
good to me.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve from Councilman Heeman and a second from Councilman Merrill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. And on the consent agenda, do we have a motion on that, or
I have
any?
a couple quick questions. Matt, do you know the price per pound on that, metal surplus, roughly?
I
Or price
believe it
per
was
ton.
150 on prepared, 100 on unprepared, and then I got one for brass. I think the brass was $2.17 a pound.
Okay.
That would be the water meters.
And that was 100 per ton on the unprepared steel?
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
That's really good. And they come pick it up?
No, we're gonna break it
Oh,
there.
okay, I was gonna say, wow, you're getting a really good deal. Okay, and then, for L3, Travis, would our public safety grant that we will be discussing more on, would that cover that?
It's in the resolution, if you look at that resolution.
Is it
It's
that,
actu-
is it
it's-
that grant
it-
specifically?
Well, it's for the public safety
yeah.
funding aid. Yes,
Yes, those funds are received. They're housed, I think we've got them sitting in 920, Fund 920 right now.
Yep.
But yeah, we would just make a transfer to a technology fund to cover that cost.
Okay, yeah, I
the only
saw-
reason it's on there is it's kind of just a little back history on it. So what it is public data request for body camera video. You request a video that we came in contact with, and Mayor was in it too. We have to redact his voice and face. So prior to that, we were able to use a system up at the sheriff's office, and we had our records go up there. They don't have it anymore, but that system, she spent 2 days to do 45 minutes. Because you have to draw the box, follow it, listen, blah, blah, blah. So the new systems, sheriff's office, they got theirs, but they can't share it, just under licensing. So that's what it's for. It has AI. You'd pick his voice, his face, and then it follows it, and the 45-minute takes you 5 minutes to actually redact. But we have public data requests sitting that we have no way to redact right now. So that's why we have it on this agenda kind of right now, just 'cause it's kind of a pressing issue.
Okay, sure, yeah, I saw it in there for the budget item, but I wanted to make sure it was that.
It is
Okay.
that pot of money, and
It
Sounds
does
good.
spell that out if you read the end of that resolution.
Okay.
That it comes from.
Yeah, I
that
just want to
funding.
make sure it was the right account number, yeah, because it had a different name than I was expecting for that one, but,
yeah, the lieutenant wrote that resolution for me. So
okay.
I said he was close enough.
Yeah, right. I did notice, though.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilman Lundin and a second from Councilman Merrill to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Any other information for city council here tonight? Otherwise, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion to adjourn by Councilman Lundin and a second from Councilman Merrill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. We are adjourned.
And we are picking up
Yeah, and we'll pick up the committee of the whole here.